Yo, cheeseheads, pack your bags for the hype train because Green Bay Packers news is coming in hot with a preview that'll have you screaming, "Go Pack Go!" The 2025 NFL season is just days away, and the Packers are poised to storm the NFC North with a blockbuster trade for Micah Parsons, a healthy Jordan Love, and a defense ready to dominate. We're dropping our final predictions of the division. And trust me, this is a season where Green Bay can reclaim the crown and march toward the Super Bowl. Get ready for a wild ride. The NFC North is a battleground, and the Packers are loaded for bear, pun intended. After an 11-5 season in 2024, Green Bay's got the tools to dethrone the Detroit Lions, who've ruled the division for 2 years. With Parsons' 52.5 career sacks, Love's rocket arm, and Jeff Hafley's elite defense, the Packers are betting favorite at plus 260 per DraftKings. But the Lions, Vikings, and Bears aren't rolling over. So, what's the path to victory, and how do we stack up in this brutal division? Here's the hook, Packers Nation. The season kicks off with a Week 1 showdown against the Lions at Lambeau Field on September 7th, 2025. It's a chance for redemption after going 0-6 against Detroit, Minnesota, and Philly last year. From Parsons' game-wrecking potential to Bo Melton's cornerback switch and injury concerns, we're breaking down why Green Bay's ready to flip the script. This is your ultimate guide to the NFC North race. So grab your green and gold, and let's dive into the 2025 predictions. Stick with me, because this is Green Bay Packers news you can't miss. Let's get fired up and talk Super Bowl dreams. The Green Bay Packers are my pick to win the NFC North in 2025, and it's not just blind faith talking. Last year's 11-5 record landed them the number 7 seed, but a first-round playoff loss to the Eagles and a 1-5 record against the NFC North exposed their weaknesses. Enter Micah Parsons, the 4-time Pro Bowler acquired on August 28th per Packers.com in a blockbuster trade that cost 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark. With 70 pressures in 2024 and a 19.3% pass rush win rate, per next-gen stats, Parsons is the ultimate weapon for Jeff Hafley's defense, which ranks 6th in points allowed, 19.9 per game, last season. Jordan Love's health is the X factor, fully cleared on August 27th after thumb surgery. Per CBSSports.com, Love's 3,389 yards and 25 touchdowns in 2024 showed he's a franchise QB. Unlike last year, when knee and groin injuries sidelined him, he's ready for all 17 games. Rookie wideout Matthew Golden, a first-round pick, adds explosiveness to a receiver core that includes Jaden Reed and Romeo Dew, though injuries to Christian Watson ACL, and others are concerned per JSOnline.com. Love's 63.5% career completion rate and 18-15 record as a starter give Green Bay an edge. The defense, already elite under Hafley, gets a turbo boost with Parsons. In 2024, Green Bay tied for 8th with 45 sacks and had 31 takeaways. Per ESPN.com, despite Jair Alexander's absence for much of the year, Bo Melton switched to cornerback. Confirmed on August 26th, adds depth to a secondary with Nate Hobbs and Xavier McKinney. But losing Clark hurts the run defense, which allowed 4.3 yards per carry last year. Can Parsons and Rashawn Gary, 7.5 sacks in 2024, make up for it against power runners like Detroit's David Montgomery? So, Packers fans, are we winning the North? Week 1 against the Lions is a statement game. With Parsons hunting Goff and Love slinging to Golden, can we start 1-0? Drop your predictions in the comments, because this team feels like a 13-4 squad ready to reclaim the division. Let's talk about how Green Bay stacks up against the Lions, Vikings, and Bears. The Detroit Lions, coming off a 15-2 season back-to-back NFC North titles, are still a powerhouse, but cracks are showing. Per BleacherReport.com, the loss of coordinators Ben Johnson, now Bears head coach, and Aaron Glenn, Jets head coach, is a massive blow. Add in the retirement of Pro Bowl center Frank Ragnow, and Detroit's offensive line, which powered their 27.1 points per game in 2024, looks vulnerable. Jared Goff precision for 1,112 yards, 30 touchdowns, and receivers like Amon-Ra St. Brown make them dangerous, but a brain drain could drop them to 11-6. Green Bay 0-2 record against Detroit last year. Narrow losses of 24-14 and 34-31 stings, but Parsons changes the math. His 21.1% pressure rate since 2021, per next-gen stats, could overwhelm a Lions line missing Ragnow. Love struggled against Detroit, completing 59.3% of his passes for 479 yards and 1 touchdown, per NFL.com. With Golden and a healthy offensive line, he's got a chance to exploit a secondary that allowed 6.4 yards per pass attempt. But can the Packers' run defense hold up without Clark? The Lions' depth is still a strength. Running back Jahmyr Gibbs and tight end Sam Laporta keep their offense balanced. But new coordinators mean growing pains. Per ESPN.com, Detroit's 15-3 record in one-score games last year is unlikely to repeat. If Green Bay's defense, which had 17 interceptions in 2024, can force turnovers, Week 1 could be a statement win. What's the key to beating Detroit? Cheeseheads? Is it Parsons' pass rush or Love's arm? Hit the comments and let's break it down. Packers Nation, this is our shot at redemption. The Lions have owned us, but with Hafley's scheme and Parsons' havoc. Are we ready to flip the script? Drop your Week 1 score predictions in the comments, because Lambeau's going to be rocking on September 7th. Let's see if Green Bay can start the season with a bang and set the tone for the NFC North race. The Minnesota Vikings, with a 14-3 record in 2024, are a wild card in 2025. Losing Pro Bowl QB Sam Darnold to the Seahawks in free agency is a massive hit, per CBSSports.com. J.J. McCarthy, their 2024 first-round pick, takes over after missing his rookie year with an ACL tear. With Justin Jefferson, the NFL's best receiver, 1,911 yards in 2024, and Aaron Jones, 1,102 rushing yards, the Vikings have firepower, but McCarthy's inexperience could cap them at 10-7. Green Bay's 1-1 record against Minnesota last year showed they can compete. But Jefferson torched them for 159 yards in one game, per Packers Wired USAtoday.com. Parsons' ability to pressure McCarthy, who's yet to take an NFL snap, could be a game changer. The Packers secondary, with Melton's speed and McKinney's 8 picks in 2024, needs to contain Jefferson. But Minnesota's offensive line, banged up in camp, is a weak spot Parsons can exploit, per NFL.com. The Vikings defense, led by Brian Flores, remained stout, allowing 20.2 points per game in 2024. But losing edge rusher Danielle Hunter, 16.5 sacks, to free agency hurts. Green Bay's offense, with Love's 8,154 career yards and Golden's deep threat potential, can stretch Minnesota's secondary. The question is whether McCarthy can handle Flores' complex scheme while facing Parsons and Gary. Can the Packers sweep the Vikings this year? Cheeseheads, what's your take? Is Minnesota's offense too much for our defense? Or will Parsons and McKinney shut them down? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because these divisional games are make or break. With McCarthy untested and Jefferson a one-man wrecking crew, how we stop the Vikings? Let's get loud and talk strategy. The Chicago Bears, at 5-12 in 2024, are the NFC North's weakest link, but they're not to be slept on. Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, showed flashes with 2,973 yards and 17 touchdowns, but a shaky offensive line and new head coach Ben Johnson's growing pains held him back, per BleacherReport.com. With Johnson's play calling and receivers like DJ Moore, the Bears could improve to 7-10, but they're not ready to challenge the top dogs. Green Bay swept Chicago last year, outscoring them 58-30, per NFL.com. Williams struggled against Hafley's defense, throwing 3 picks in 2 games. Parsons' arrival makes that matchup even tougher, as Chicago's line allowed 52 sacks in 2024, third worst in the NFL. Love, who threw for 406 yards against the Bears, should feast if Reed and do return from injuries. But Johnson's Lions offense averaged 27.1 points per game. Could he work that magic in Chicago? The Bears defense, with Montez Sweat and Jalen Johnson, has talent, but is adapting to a new scheme under defensive coordinator Eric Washington. Per ESPN.com, their 4.8 yards per rush allowed could be a problem against Josh Jacobs and Green Bay's ground game. If the Packers receivers get healthy, Chicago's secondary, which allowed 6.7 yards per pass attempt, is vulnerable. Can we keep the sweep streak alive? Packers fans, let's hear it. Are the Bears a trap game, or do we roll them again? With Parsons hunting Williams and Love finding his groove, how big can we win? Drop your predictions in the comments, because Chicago's still a year away from contending. Let's keep the pressure on and show the NFC North who's boss. As we gear up for Week 1, the Packers are a team on a mission. Parsons' trade, finalized just days ago, gives Hafley a defense that could lead the NFL in sacks, per PFF.com's ejection of 50-plus in 2025. Love's full health and Golden's emergence make the offense dynamic, but injuries to Watson, Reed, and Dew are concern. Per JSOnline.com, Watson's out until Week 5, and Reed's foot injury is day-to-day. Can backups like Mecole Hardman and tight end Luke Musgrave step up? The Lions game is a litmus test. Detroit's 2-0 record against Green Bay last year showed their edge, but without Ragnow and their coordinators, they're vulnerable. Parsons 11 sacks despite a 2024 ankle sprain, per CBSSports.com. Prove he's a difference maker. If he disrupts Goff early, Lambeau could erupt. Love needs to avoid the mistakes of last year's Lions games. 1 pick, 1 touchdown. What's the game plan? Cheeseheads. Fan sentiment on X is through the roof, with Parsons called our Reggie White, and Love's recovery sparking MVP talk. The Packers' history of bold moves. White in 93, Rodgers in 08. Fuels the hype. But the NFC North is brutal, with 45 combined wins from Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay last year. Can we rise above the pack? Drop your season predictions in the comments. Division title, NFC Championship, or Super Bowl. This is our time. Packers Nation. With Parsons, Love, and Hafley, are we the NFC's best team? Hit the comments with your bold calls for 2025. Will we go 13-4 and win the North? Or is Detroit still the team to beat? Let's get hyped for Week 1 and beyond, because the road to the Super Bowl starts at Lambeau. This is why we bleed green and gold. The Packers are built for greatness. Micah Parsons is our game wrecker. Jordan Love is our leader. And Jeff Hafley's defense is ready to dominate. The Lions, Vikings, and Bears will fight, but Green Bay's got the edge with a healthy QB, a new superstar, and a chip on their shoulder after last year's 0-6 against top foes. Week 1 is our chance to prove we're back. The injury bug looms large. Watson's out, Reed and Dew are questionable, and linemen Aaron Banks and Jacob Monk are nursing injuries, per Packers.com. But backups like Golden, Hardman, and Musgrave, who caught a red zone touchdown in camp, per JSOnline.com, give us hope. Parsons' back injury, reported during his Cowboys hold-in, is a minor concern, but he's expected to play Week 1, per WhisperTSHeroics.com. Can this team stay healthy? The NFC North race comes down to divisional games. Green Bay's 1-5 record against the North last year was a killer, but Parsons and a healthy Love flipped the script. Per DraftKings, the Packers are plus 260 to win the division, behind Detroit's plus 150. With a favorable early schedule, Lions, Washington, Dallas. The Packers to start 3-0. What's the ceiling for this team? Cheeseheads? Super Bowl or bust? Packers Nation, let's make some noise. Smash that like button if you're hyped for Micah Parsons and Jordan Love. Drop a comment with your NFC North predictions and Week 1 score. Subscribe and hit the bell for every Green Bay Packers news update. And share this video with every cheesehead you know. Let's pack Lambeau and show the NFL we're coming for the crown. Go Pack Go!